Hello and welcome back to Run It Back on the Raptors Republic Network. I am your host Kyle Remner and joined by my boy Coty Wiles. Zolfi is on vacation right now. He'll be coming back late October. Wishing him a safe flight back home and a great trip. But overall, the preseason has came and went. We saw what the Raptors could do. So without further ado, let's run it back. All right, so with the preseason behind us, the Raptors have a record of 3-2, losing to the Celtics and the Wizards. We definitely saw a lot of what could be the future of Raptors basketball. So I'll ask Coty here first. Was there something you saw from a player or players that really impressed you?
I gotta start with Jamal Shed. I feel like everybody is loving Jamal Sheds. We're all Shed heads, and I've loved what this guy has done. Like on both ends of the floor. Like everybody's gonna talk about the point of attack defense and the way he's just able to get up into guys. The amount of defensive plays he makes is crazy. But I've loved his passing. And he is a smooth, skilled, polished passer in pick and roll. And he has really showed that, and it's impressed me. Couple of turnovers that would like to be cleaned up, but I mean, for the most part, I think he does everything well on the court. He cuts well. He basically, I like everything he does except the shot. If he can shoot it better, that would be great. He didn't hit over 31% over the course of the season at any point during college, and didn't shoot it that well in preseason either. Only 15.4%. So definitely something that gonna watch out for. But I mean, Jamal Shed, I want to start there because I think he's been great, and I think everybody's been raving about him.
No, he's been amazing. Like I didn't even put any notes about him because I knew you would want to talk about him, and you're definitely one of his biggest supporters. Just from when we did the scouting report earlier, and we did our rookies on the earlier episode of Run It Back. Like I was so interested to see how his game would translate to the NBA in the preseason, and I was impressed. That defense alone was insane. The way he was getting around the screens, his passing. I can honestly see him as a future like solid backup point guard for the Raptors if he does really develop. But who I really want to talk about was my boy Grady. I'm about to become a Grady Glazer for a few seconds, but
go ahead.
So what I saw was in the 5 games he played, 25 minutes per game, he averaged 15 points per game, 4.0 rebounds, 1 steal per game, and he shot 34% from 3. Obviously better from his last year, where he only played 16 minutes and only had 7.3 points. Jumps in all the numbers, but everything, not even just the stats alone, everything I was seeing from the hustle to him getting open to playing the passing lanes to his defense, put back dunks from Grady. That's something I never thought I would see. His finishing at the rim, he's just exuding this confidence that I just love to see from the start of last season to where he got sent to the 905, and it looked like his confidence was waning a little bit there, but then they put him through the regime. He came back, he was looking better than ever, and he keeps on getting better and better and better. And just everything I saw from him, his shooting, just everything I listed right there too, I was so impressed, and it just gets me so hopeful for the future of Raptors basketball, especially with someone like Grady, because I can definitely see him, if he keeps this up, developing into a stud for this team, either a 6-man or someone who is a definite starter on this team. I don't know, what were you thinking of Grady's play?
Yeah, I thought he looked good. He wasn't hitting shots to start the preseason. In the first 2.5 games, he was like 3 for 13 from distance, but he started shooting it better midway through the 3rd game there. And honestly, what I love to see from him is he's getting chased off the line a lot because he's got that respect now as a shooter, and he's able to just drill these like 1 dribble, 2 dribble, mid-range pull-ups as a little bit of a counter. And you mentioned he's starting to get to the rim a little bit more. Like he's not even like last year we were all saying like he's sneaky athletic. He's not even sneaky athletic anymore. He's just athletic. Defensively, still lots to clean up in my opinion. All throughout my notes here from these games is just getting beat off the dribble. Like in the first Celtics game, Jordan Walsh beat him off the dribble like 3 or 4 times. So still need to clean up that end. Off ball, he was a bit better, but there's still times where he'll just be lost or whatnot, or get beat on a back cut. So that's gonna be the big thing for me and for Grady is what's he gonna be like defensively, because he was just getting put in action after action after action during this preseason, and it wasn't really looking too good. So if he's gonna want to be a starter, which I think we're all in agreement that he's probably going to start as the shooting guard this year. We got to see if he can defend, man, because that's been the talk about camp, right, Kyle? Like Darko's been preaching this defense now. He was with the offense in year one. Now it's defense year two. We got Davion Mitchell and Jamal Shed. They have been absolutely monstrous on defense, and hopefully they can maybe teach Grady a couple things in practice. But yeah, I don't want to see him get targeted because that's what was happening last year. That's what's been happening this preseason. I don't want to see him get played off the floor in that, but we know he has the athleticism. He's got some of the tools on that end. Just gotta see if the foot speed's there, and ultimately the technique can improve. But for young guys, like that'll come.
Yeah, exactly. I think like over time, like he as long as he puts in the work and he has the frame and the size to be a good defender and we've seen the athleticism, so he can move on his feet there. He should be able to do this as long as he does put in the work. But let's go with his running buddy, because he had a great game with Scotty Barnes. Let's talk about the star of this team. I think I saw a crazy stat, which was like per 36 minutes, he was averaging like 26 points, 6 rebounds, something crazy stat line like that. But it was just making me smile. He was doing everything right. That crazy dunk he had, I think it was it against the Nets where he looked Giannis-esque. Tell me what you're thinking about Scotty right now.
Yeah, Scotty, I'll just rattle off the stats here throughout the preseason. 18.3 points. Rebounding wise, he was 6 per game, 4 assists per game, 2 stocks per game. And on 5.3 shots from deep, he shot 38.1%. So he really just took over. And yeah, that dunk against Brooklyn, good God, that was crazy. He somehow, just with like no momentum, picked up his dribble, and just with the length, like it really was like Space Jam, like, you know, when they Mike Jordan extends the arm, like that's really what it felt like. His length, athleticism, and strength is really second to none, man. It's truly special. But he looked good, which is great because he's got a lot to play for this year. There's incentives in the contract that if he makes all NBA, you know, he gets that escalator after signing this extension. So, and this is the 1 year to do it. So he's going to have something to play for, as does this team. I mean, the front office can preach rebuild, retool, whatever they want to use. But the players have been saying, like, we want to go out there and compete, right? And Scotty has reason to do that. Emmanuel Quigley wants to prove, I would assume he wants to prove the extension, right? Because there's been a lot of talk about that as well. So yeah, this seems like a group, I don't know, preseason caveats. It's tough to really, you know, get a firm grip of how much you can really take from it. But I really do think they had a good camp. I know everybody says that, but I really do think they had a good camp. I liked what I saw from a lot of the guys, and I guess we're just carrying this into the season. The injuries have been a bit of a bummer, but it was great to see Quickly come back and get a rep in there for the last game before the season ends up starting. Hopefully RJ Barrett is good to go. Doesn't look like Bruce Brown is going to be ready to go. So we'll see what happens on the injury front. But from the players that were able to play, I was impressed, and I'm happy with where they're at.
Yeah, from everything I saw, honestly, it looks like the team's starting to mesh more. Like some of the plays where they had impeccable ball movement, like amazing. So I'm just thinking, like what I was saying last year too, this team just needs time to flow together and build chemistry. And I truly believe like this trio of like was it Scotty, RJ, and Quickly can really be something special. And I truly believe in this trio, and I'm not even just saying that. I definitely think this team can be something as long as they live up to their potential.
Yeah, this is like an outsider take, like no insider knowledge on this, but the vibes seem up. That I don't know if that's just like, I don't know if anybody else is getting that vibe about the vibes, but I'm getting the vibe that the vibes are up. Yeah. So we'll see. Like maybe we'll get to the records predictions here, but Vegas has the line at 29.5.
29 wins, yeah.
So it's tough. I mean, where do you think about that? Like, the vibes are up. We look good.
It's like what S said. If we have nothing else, at least we got the vibes, man. Like if there's nothing, if the Raptors don't win anything, the vibes need to be here. I saw that open gym clip. The guys just look like they're having fun, you know, because like I feel like right now they're not playing with too much stress on them. I feel like they know what kind of position they're in. They feel like they need to not rebuild, but just build a team chemistry, gel together, and build a foundation here. So I feel like they know there's not too much pressure on them, and they can just play the game, you know?
Oh, that's a great point because I mean, how many different iterations of the team did we see last year? There was the OG trade and then the
Mm,
Pascal trade, and it was just like these guys didn't really get a lot of time to play together. And then
yeah.
they were getting hurt at the end of the year with Scotty, Jakob, and then obviously the unfortunate circumstances with IQ and Barrett where they're out of the lineup. So these guys really haven't had that much time to play together. So it's going to be, hopefully everybody's healthy, hopefully we're able to see these guys actually get a solid sample to address where maybe things need to be changed or what the actual core group is going forward. We get the idea of what it is, but what can we add around this to make it viable for contention in the future?
Exactly. And I think like it just goes, if we're just going from season to season, taking one step at a time, see how the guys can do this season and maybe what we can add next season and just build like that, obviously like a real contending team. And I feel like again last year you had, are we trading Siakam, are we trading this person, and had a lot of that looming over the team, and kind of not the greatest vibes because we don't know who's staying, who's going, like how are we gonna be a team if we don't know if this is the team. So that's why I feel like, yeah, we got the vibes going, like everybody just seems to be happy. And I know we had a lot of moments in the preseason. I want to ask you, like, did you have a favorite moment or favorite game from the preseason?
I mean, everybody's gonna say the second Celtics game, the Carlson block. I thought was cool. That was a fun little moment. That probably what I was gonna say until I saw that Scotty dunk. We already touched on it, but that was just like, it just my eyes wide, and I was like, wow, like it's been great to see him because it was like 7 months before we saw Scotty play when he first got back into the preseason. So those were two moments that definitely stood out. Just overall, like, love Jamal Shed. Like, just any time he was on the court, I thought he was great. It's cool to see Chris Boucher do his thing. Yeah. He looked like he was playing for something. 11.2 points, 3.8 rebounds, near almost a stock a game, and he shot it well from three, 45% on 4 attempts per game. Like, he was draining it, and his shot looks a bit quicker. The form looks smoother a little bit. So we'll see. Lots of moving parts still. You were talking about like these vets moving. Maybe there's some questions around, like, I don't know, what's Boucher's future? Is he going to be like, do you think Boucher's on the team come trade deadline, after the trade deadline?
It's hard to think about that because I feel like it's so weird to say if he will or he won't be. I was surprised that some people are still on the team, but for Boucher, I think he will be. Honestly, I think he'll still be on the team. I feel like he's a good, reliable backup option too, because it's not like we have a ton of options at center right now. Like, we just lost Carlson as well, which I was hyped for. I was excited to see like him be a prospect, but I think he'll still be on the team. Honestly, come trade deadline, it wouldn't surprise me. The only one who still would surprise me if they're on the team at trade deadline is Bruce Brown. This guy just like, I don't know how he would be on the team, but we'll see what comes. Do you think he's still gonna be on the team? I'll throw it right back at you.
Bruce, I would guess not. I can't see another reason why they would pick up that option this offseason to not try to get some value for him. Like, it's been known that they've tried to shop him. So, but I respect Bruce for being a professional about it.
Yeah.
To this point, like, there was the weird comments when he first got there that he would fit perfectly in like the Tom Thibodeau system or something along those lines. But since then, he's been a real professional about it. He seems really happy on the sidelines, encouraging his teammates. So I'll give him props for that. I would doubt he's past trade deadline. Boucher, more so, probably more higher percentage that he's on the team. But I really think he can help a contending team out, man. Like,
Yeah.
I almost want to let him go. It's like, love him, you let him go. Like, some people just want to get him out of here. Like, I'm happy if he stays, but I feel like he can actually, there's greener pastures for him to go get another ring or whatnot. So yeah, I mean, those two, I don't really see anybody else getting traded other than those two, to be honest.
Like, I feel like everything's just up in the air, especially with Bruce Brown too. Like, I didn't want him completely off the team. Like, I didn't hate either way, because I feel like when he's on the team now, like you said too, he's had a better kind of attitude with the team, and I feel like he's helping out some of the younger guys too. Like, again, bringing the vibes up, helping coaching those guys. So either way, like, it would suck if we lose him for nothing, but like, I feel like right now, as he's on the team in the moment, like, it is a good thing. And just like, last question before we move on, like, Is there anything you saw that you want the Raptors to improve upon going into the main season, or was there anything you just straight up disliked?
Yeah, like I said, I was pretty impressed with the camp and the preseason games that we saw. I guess just the defense, right? Like I
Mhm.
just want to continue to see the defense improve, which it was this preseason. It all kind of culminated against the Brooklyn Nets, where I thought they were really solid on that end from the first quarter on. Just defense.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say I disliked anything. I would say it got better. I don't think it's quite at the level, obviously, that the Rats would want, and it's preseason, so there's no need for it to be at
Yeah.
that level quite yet. But they got real defensive players on this team now. With the acquisition of Davion Mitchell, with the draft pick of Jamal Shed, Ochai Agbaji, for who started to put it together a little bit offensively towards the end of preseason year. He is much better on the defensive end, and I think he has some little untapped potential there. Like
Mhm.
he's been seems like he's improved, and the Raptors are investing on him on that end. Scotty's obviously a great defender. Jakob is one of the better interior
Mhm.
centers defensively in the league. So they have real defensive pieces on this team. I'm just hoping that I believe they were fourth, had the fourth worst defensive rating. I'm hoping that that can improve this next season.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of took all the words right out of my mouth. Just defense was the biggest thing. But for me, like even like how I was with Grady last year, I'm not putting too much pressure on the team. Again, number one, it's preseason. Number two, this is still a young team growing. Like I just feel like they have to find their footing, and they will get that defense down along the way. Like we do have the prospects of really great defenders on this team. Like I can see Scotty growing into a truly great defender. Same thing with Jamal. Same thing with even someone like Grady too. Like I feel like we've seen the flashes of it. He just has to get the fundamentals and the footing down. And I feel like when you're working with so many good defenders on the team already, you're bound to learn and you're bound to get better. So overall, like I think it was a successful preseason overall. Like if you can even say a preseason was successful or not,
Yeah.
I liked what I saw overall, and I feel just like I feel good going into the season. I feel optimistic about this team heading into it.
Yeah, the only thing, like I guess I could have mentioned the injuries once again. Like
Mhm.
there was a lot of dudes banged up. Like would have loved to see Jacoby Walter at some
Yeah.
point. Hopefully he's ready to go for the season opener. It's sounding like it's going to be close for him.
Mhm.
Uh, so I would love to see him. Probably with this little setback, he is going to be with the 905 a bit more to start the season, would be
Yeah.
my guess. Just to get him up to speed a little bit. But I guess the 905 season doesn't start until November 9th, so maybe not. But yeah, I want a firm answer from you. Over 29 and a half wins or not? Yeah. Hey, you said the vibes were good coming out of this preseason. Where do you have the Raptors landing?
With the record, honestly, I'm gonna say over.
Okay.
But like if I had to put a number on it, I want to give them like I'm not gonna say like something crazy like I said last time with the with the record, but I was thinking maybe 38 wins. I'm gonna say like 38-ish wins.
Oh, you're closer to 500, hey?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like they could make the playoffs. I honestly feel like this team, like fully healthy, motivated, can be like a seventh to like seventh seed ish max. Like,
I think they could get into a playing spot for sure.
Mhm.
It's a combination of, yeah, if they're fully healthy and the starters are clicking and things are looking good, which I think that would take like Samson and Lewis on the mailbag today. We're talking about
Yeah.
the Raptors possibly having a top 12 offense. I think that is something
Mhm.
that could propel this team to some degree. So I could see a seven. I could see them seeking to a play in. Like I could see like a
Yeah.
9, a 10 seed. I'm not sure about actually getting to the playoffs, but I could also see them bottoming out, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be. That's why it's so hard, right? Like I think I have them going over, just sneaking over though. Like I think it's gonna be around like 32, 33. That's probably where I
Yeah.
sit. But so I guess we're both over. You're closer to 500.
Yeah, I feel like 29 is kind of just like I think they can get over that. I honestly it's just something in my head that's saying like I don't see them hitting like if it's anything 29 and below, that'd be really tough to see. It's gonna be a really depressing season then. But like
Yeah.
but yeah.
I mean it would be depressing. I like I'm hoping we don't see that honestly, but like I mean they only had 25 wins last season, so
yeah, it was depressing the whole way. So.
yeah. I mean at least a lot of that was to injuries.
Yeah.
So and then just the trades and all that. So better structure, better vibes like we were saying going into
Yeah.
this season. But there was some moves coming out today from Toronto. So let's just kind of recap what happened today. So the Raptors, they waived Jemias Ramsey, Jared Rhoden, and Brandon Carlson, who was previously on a two-way. They also signed and waived Kevin O'Banner, who was with the 905 last season. They did that so he can return back to the 905 again. Then they also converted Jamison Battle to a two-way contract, filling Carlson, who was waived. And so that is what they did. So as it stands, it looks like Bruno Fernando is going to make the team. And Jamison Battle is now on a two-way with Brandon Carlson being let go. Kyle, what do you think? You kind of brought up that you weren't too happy to see Carlson go, as am I.
Mm-hmm. It's like that's like my main takeaway from these moves. Number one, it's like I didn't know they were gonna take Fernando, or to say over Carlson, because Carlson had that game-winning block. He has the size, he has the potential, and we don't even have him as a G Leaguer. I think Blake was saying like they don't hold his G League rights. They might be able to get it if he buys him out or something like that.
Yeah, so it's he will most likely, I mean, he could technically be claimed by a team, but he will most likely enter the G League draft, and he will be primarily a hot commodity. I would expect him to go high in that draft, and the Raptors 905 don't own a pick in the upcoming draft, so we'll see. It's kind of looking like he's not going to be there, unfortunately, because he can space the floor, he can protect the rim, and but the thing is, he is 25. But Fernando's only a year older than him, which kind of is shocking. But I mean, the Raptors probably did need a center, right? So I'm not, the very different players. Like Fernando's not going to stretch the floor. He's going to rebound better, though. He's going to bang bodies a bit better than Carlson. I think he can contest shots just as well as Carlson, even though Carlson has a bit more of the size. But I mean, nothing to really quibble with. How do you feel about Jamison Battle getting the two-way, though?
It was definitely interesting. Like I think they made the right choice in that, though. I feel like out of the whole thing here, like from Carlson to this, I feel they did that. They did the right choice, because like from what I've seen from like everything from him, he's kind of impressed me overall. So like I think like in a nutshell, I was happy with that. I was happy. I don't know how you feel about it, but
love it. The moment I saw him at Summer League, I thought he was gonna be great. I didn't know he was gonna earn it all the way to a two-way spot. I was just expecting him to be with the 905 this year and kill it, and then maybe get a contract late in the season. But he's impressed them enough. And I mean, last season with Ohio State, 15.3 points, 5.2 rebounds, and he shot 43.3% from beyond the arc. That was 9th in the NCAA. So sharpshooter, I mean, that's clearly what everyone is seeing about him, right? 6'6", 6'7". So he's got some size. Got to work on a lot of stuff outside of that, outside of the shooting. We'll see what he can do as a playmaker, see if he can hold up defensively in the G League. That's gonna be big for him. But yeah, I love Battle. Now, I really liked Carlson too. I was excited to see Carlson. I think the thing for him, he was just a little too old. But we'll see. He could end up back with the 905, as could Jemias Ramsey. From what I've heard, it looks like they're going to try to acquire the rights, I would assume, from Oklahoma City. So we'll see what happens with that. But for the 905 roster, it's looking, I don't know, I kind of like it. I don't know if we want to get into it, but if we're assuming the rookies are going to be down there to some degree, like you could be rolling out a starting lineup of Jamal Shed, DJ Carton, Jacoby Walter, Jonathan Mobo, and whatever one of Dylan Disu, Ulrich Shamshay, or Kevin O'Banner. So
it's a disgusting lineup. That's a really good line.
Yeah, they already got Jared Rhoden's rights, so he's going to be down there. Quincy Guerriere, with the Montreal, Quebec native, is going to be down there. He was with the team on Summer League. Kennedy Chandler, former Grizzly, was really good with the Tennessee Volunteers as a one and done. He's going to be down with the 905 as well. So I think it's going to be a good year for the Raptors 905. And if you add Ramsey into that, and they could still bring back guys like a Kerr Maker for some more center depth. But I think the 905 team is looking really good.
I honestly, like, with the lineup you just spit out right there, it excites me, especially if I see Battle on the 905 too, because his ability to
Yeah.
space the floor, and if they somehow figure out a way to get the rights to Carlson, because he would be disgusting on this team. He would fit so perfect on this. What surprised me too is when I was reading like Blake's article about it, is that the team decided that Carlson wasn't NBA ready. That's what they thought, and I was kind of like, well, we didn't give him that much of a chance to even see if he was NBA ready, you know?
Yeah, it's always tough when you hear stuff like that because they're with those guys, right? Like and then I mean, they've had Carlson since summer league, and they've seen him in practices, and they've seen him go up against a Fernando like head to head. They've seen him try to guard Pirtle in practice and stuff like that. So it's a decision they made. They basically picked Battle and Fernando in a weird like way over Carlson. So they could still get him back. Like, it's still possible. I doubt it, but some trades would have to be made, and they would have to have one of the top picks in the draft to snag him, because as you mentioned, and as Blake was saying, he's probably going to be one of the top commodities, because centers, I mean, just bigs in general in the G League are hard to come by. We'll see. But if he ends up being with the Raptors, that'd be great. But for now, it looks like he's probably not going to be there. But like I said, good vibes all around. 9-5 team looks good. I'm happy with where the Raptors roster is at outside of the injuries. But I mean, that should pretty much do it. Hey, like I love. We're getting ready for the season opener, right? Yeah. We're about like 4 days away now, so I'm excited, Kyle. I'm excited.
Overall, yeah, like you said, the vibes are up going into the season from the 9-5 to the Raptors. I'm just excited to see some basketball here, from either the main team or the G League. Overall, just I can't wait to see what these guys got. Can't wait to see what it's gonna look like in real time when we're running with both teams. Yeah, I'm just excited overall. It's gonna be good.
I'm excited to talk to you. I'm excited to be back.
It's gonna be fun, bro. Running back's gonna be fun this year.
Yeah, we're gonna try. I guess from here on out, we'll try to go every Monday. I think that's gonna be us.
Yeah.
On the Raptors Republic channel. So check back for us Monday if you want to hear us. I would hope people would want to listen to us, right? Maybe they want to listen to Zulfi. I don't know.
Zulfi's got a nice voice, man.
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk to you. I'm excited to hang out with Zulfi as well, but it's going to be fun. This is going to be more of the 905 show, I would think. Like, you could get your Raptors stuff from Samson, from Lewis, from S, who's going to be joining Raptors Republic a lot more this season. So we'll still talk some Raptors, of course, and we'll do some betting, but I think 905 is going to be a big part of our show, and couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be covering like both the 905 and the Raptors. So if people are just worried we're going to stop talking Raptors, don't worry, that's not going to happen. We're just going to have both, so people know what's going on both teams, and if anyone's moving up or down to the main roster, or 905 is going to be all here. You got Coty leading the charge on that. I'm excited, bro. It's going to be a fun season. It's going to be overall fun season.
It's going to be great. Can't wait.
All right, I want to thank you guys so much for watching Run It Back for this week. We will be back next week after the season home opener, or the games go on ahead. We'll be back with Zulfi, hopefully, if he returns in time. But if not, look forward to seeing me and Coty again, talking Raptors, talking 905. That was this week's episode of Run It Back. Subscribe and like for more, and we will see you guys next week.